What I do is step in, embody the swag that people from Detroit walk with.
With the first pick in the 2021 NBA Draft, the Detroit Pistons select Cade Cunningham.
I know my name was the first name called, but I didn't do this by myself. I have a #1 pick family, honestly. Detroit Pistons, I'm all the way in. Let's do it.
All right, Joel, here's a look at the top 10 picks in last night's NBA Draft. First of all, congratulations to all the draftees. Dreams coming true. The Pistons took Cade Cunningham first overall. Cunningham is the third Big 12 player to be selected first overall, joining Andrew Wiggins and Blake Griffin. Kendrick Perkins, who was all over the draft coverage last night, doing an excellent job, joining us now. Big Perk, where are you? There he is. There he is. Little sleep, but he's ready to go. All smiles. I'll start with you here, Stephen A. Who are the draft winners?
Well, listen, I think that I love this kid, Jalen Green, that the Houston Rockets picked up. Big-time scorer, incredibly athletic. I'm a huge fan of Jalen Suggs out of Gonzaga. Was just a freshman last year, got a lot of heart. Was an all-state player. Player of the year in football and basketball when he was in high school, and obviously went to Gonzaga last year, helped them get to a national championship game before Baylor ran over them. But I love this kid. I love the fact that he's going to be in Orlando. And, of course, I don't mind the fact that my Knicks got this kid, Quentin Grimes. I was a bit worried when I saw that the Knicks were picking guys that had defensive prowess but were a bit challenged offensively, etc. I like, damn it, Tom Thibodeau, I don't need all of that. You got enough defense. I need some shooters. You understand? This kid,
then the Nets took your guy.
This kid, that's right. I know they did. Yeah. But this kid Grimes out of Houston, I like him a lot. He's got some potential. He definitely can shoot the rock and what have you. So I was pleased with that. But again, I'm not going to sit up here and lie to the American public, obviously, because of COVID-19. Last year was severely compromised, and I didn't see a lot of these guys. I watched the NCAA tournament. I certainly watched the Final Four. But the body of work that I've seen these guys, I'm not about to sit up here and even try to come across like I'm too knowledgeable about all of these guys. I know what their games are. I've seen some highlights of them. I watched Grimes. I watched Cade Cunningham as well, and what have you. And I've seen some of these guys, and I've based on what I've seen what they could do. Let me say this real quick about Cade Cunningham. I'm a fan. I love his game, but I just want to say this, and Max and Kendrick, please feel free to comment on that. This is the message that I want to send to all college kids out there. When they looked at Cade Cunningham, they said that there were times that he could have been more aggressive. That's all they said. They said all the tools are there, particularly him in pick and roll situations at 6'8" with his shooting ability or whatever. He could be a special talent. So we know the brother can play, and we wish him nothing but the best. And I got a lot of faith in him as well. I just want to make sure everybody understands this. When you play on the collegiate level specifically, or any level that's less than the NBA, if you play 30 games a year, and anyone ever questions your motor, that's a huge bad sign. Because the belief is on a collegiate level or any other level, you're not making the money that you're going to be making on the NBA level. There are less games, less taxing on your body. And so when you're in pursuit of that money and you're in pursuit of elevating your game to another level, Russell Westbrook is somebody you should idolize. Because you look at a guy like that and that motor and the way he comes at it every single night.
So you're not just talking about aggression. You're talking about energy.
You can't ever come across like there's an absence of energy, even at particular points.
Passion.
When you consider the fact that you're playing 30 some odd games and you're going to be playing.
That's a red flag for you?
That's always a red flag for me.
At #1 overall.
Well, in any position, for a first round pick. We should never be questioning.
So you wouldn't. So would you take as a result?
I would have taken Cade Cunningham, but what I'm saying to you is that I really like this kid Green, though.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is that again, I don't know, but they were saying.
Beware, antennas are up.
Beware.
It's concerning.
Sure.
Even with the talent.
Make sure you eradicate that.
I liked what a couple teams did, most of all Houston, and not just because they wound up with Green, but they wound up with Segun, the Turkish guy. No, have I seen Segun play? Only the highlights and what people say. But if you win MVP of the Turkish league when you're 18 and you're that size and you have that kind of agility and offensive touch, you're going to be pretty good at least. And they grabbed both those guys and an athletic defensive power forward, like who may have been a lottery. Like the Rockets did really well. I also like the fact that the Pistons got Isaiah Livers, Stephen A.
Yes,
like
out of Michigan.
He's a real good shooter and like a leader and from the area. I like that. And then also the Nets picking up Cam Thomas. By the way, when I said they got the guy, you're watching the Knicks, you're like, Cam Thomas is still there.
That's the guy they should have
You want to grab, and the Nets got a guy who's going to be a sixth man walking into the gym. You would think he's not going to play with. He can score. Period. Yeah. And then the blogger kid, what's his name? Preston, Jason, who the Clippers picked up. They liked him. The rumor was before the draft, traded out of the first round, so they pick up some extra stuff and then grab him in the second round. And he's apparently got a lot of LaMelo Ball in him. Right? The idea is a lanky, playmaking, high IQ guy. And think about what they had at the point guard position last year. Not a lot, the Clippers. They were playing Patrick Beverly there. This is a big upgrade, it seems to me.
Big Perk, what about you?
Well, let me say this. One, this is the most athletic draft in NBA history. And I'm going to tell you why. 41 guys at the NBA Combine tested for a 35-inch vertical leap or higher. One of those guys, in Keon Johnson, had a 48-inch vertical, which set the record. You had another big that went second round, Jericho Sims, out of Texas, who had a 44-inch vertical. Here's what I'm going to tell you. When you look at this draft from last night, this is one of the deepest, most talented drafts since 2003 and 1996. These young kids are going to be bona fide superstars, especially the top three, okay? When you look at Cade Cunningham, Jalen Green, and Evan Mobley. And here's what I want to say about Cade Cunningham, Stephen A., to your point. When you look at Cade Cunningham, he played for the Team USA, the World Cup last year, and he was clearly the best player on the floor every single night. And he played with all those guys he was drafted with. That includes Jalen Green, Evan Mobley, Scotty Barnes, all those guys. And he was the clear best player every single night on the floor. This is what I'm going to tell you who's the biggest winner in this year's draft. It's the Detroit Pistons. And then starting with Cade Cunningham. He's the most complete player since LeBron James. And here's why I say why. He has zero flaws offensively. He could take you on the low block. He knows how to utilize his size. His face-up game is mean. Reminds me of Grant Hill. He has the ball. His handle is unique. Has it on the string. His IQ is through the roof. His playmaking ability is some of the best I've ever seen for as a guy his age. And when we talk about athleticism, he don't have a 40-inch vertical, but he has like a 36-inch vertical. And when he gets on the fast break, look out, man. I mean, lights, camera, action. And he's mature. When you listen to his interviews, right? When you listen to his interviews, he talks about his young daughter. He talks about his leadership skills and how grown he is. And that was the thing that separated him and Jalen Green.
Hold on. Let me ask you this question. I'm not refuting any of that because you would know. I haven't been studying that stuff. But that's what they're saying. I'm not, let me be very, very clear. I've only seen Cade Cunningham like twice. I love his skill. I'm not questioning anything. What I'm saying is the folks who follow college basketball, that's what they were saying about him leading up to the draft. And are you saying that you didn't hear that? That Cade Cunningham, when we talked about his motor, because that's the only question that I heard about him, there were times that folks felt because he was that dude, because he was so skilled, it was just a matter of him going out there and taking it as opposed to coming across passive at times. Are you saying that you didn't hear that?
Well, the only thing that I heard, Stephen A., is that when he was at Oklahoma State, he didn't have the talent around him. So when when teams in college would actually play a boxing one defense or overemphasize stopping him and he would make plays, they would just not, others were not finishing around the basket or knocking down shots. But I'm going to tell you, look, the Detroit Pistons, they were torn between the two when it came down to Cade Cunningham and Jalen Green, right? And I think the separation was the leadership part of it. They were blown away by his interview, how mature he is. But when you go down the line, I love that they picked up Livers from Michigan. And also, by the way, in the late second round with the 52 pick, guess who they got? The college, basketball, the college player of the year in college basketball.
That's right.
Big Garza out of Iowa. Troy Weaver did a hell of a job last night for the Detroit Pistons, and the future is bright when it comes down to Cade Cunningham and his Detroit Pistons and the pieces that they already have, especially a young killer like they have in the middle right now, Isaiah Stewart, that they drafted last year out of Washington.
Yeah, the Pistons
absolutely.
And the Rockets
Tides are turning. Getting back to those glory days, hopefully in a few years or so. What were you going to say, Max? Sorry.
The Pistons and the Rockets killed it, and the Rockets moved up to grab their guy, Sengun, with the 14th.
And correct me if I'm wrong. Detroit, again, they're downtown now. They're no longer at the Palace in Auburn Hills. They're gone from the Palace in Auburn. They're downtown Detroit, and I think I've heard there's a resurgence. I haven't been there in a couple of years or so, but I've heard there's a resurgence downtown.
Absolutely. New hotels, new restaurants.
Listen, that's a beautiful, beautiful thing because those fans, if you give them something to cheer, that's a big time fan base right there.
Detroit?